Hello YouTube, a bit of a different one today, so if you're a regular expecting to see me on the verge of exhaustion or rolling around on the floor in pain, put those expectations to one side, because this video is about how I'm going to be doing things a bit different going forward in the hope that it'll create a different way of delivering you motivating, informative and entertaining content on health and fitness, the stuff that if you are a regular, hopefully you've been enjoying. I say different to how it is normally done at least. I think it'll be a better way. My assumption is that some of you will disagree. Most of you will probably agree, but not with enough enthusiasm. You'll support the idea, and that is absolutely fine. But enough of you might agree and support the idea, and then we're good to go. Okay, so a different way. What's wrong with the current way? I make videos, I stick them up on here, and you watch them. It sounds perfect. It's not. Let me explain. Some of you know I used to do a tiny bit of stand-up comedy a very long time ago. I wasn't very good, but I wasn't terrible.
You could put him on Letterman.
Over Christmas, I met a friend who I hadn't seen in years, who I first met doing open mic nights with. We were reminiscing about doing 5-minute sets to 10 drunk people in horrible comedy clubs where none of them were listening, and just getting off stage without a bottle smacking you in the head was a very good night. And he didn't know about me having been doing YouTube this last couple of years, and so he was interested in how this worked, how it was going. Did people watch what I did? And I said, yeah, they are starting to. I'll put up a video at 7 o'clock in the evening, and by 8 o'clock, maybe 10,000 people will have watched it, and maybe 30 or 40, sometimes 50,000 people by the next day. And over the first week, sometimes 100,000. And then who knows? Sometimes that's it, but sometimes those numbers keep going up. 200, 300, 400,000, 500,000 plus at times. Certainly over an average month, 1.5 to 2 million views across the channel. And he knows nothing about YouTube, and so he said, that's nuts. You don't even have to duck flying bottles. People must like what you're doing. I said, yeah, in fact, the best bit is I get messages from people every day saying they do. Some think it's funny, some think it's motivating. Some people even say, in part, it's helped them really turn things around. Maybe they've lost weight, or they started working out again after a long break, or it might just have given them a new perspective on how to approach health and exercise. For some, it really is a big deal. And he said, that is unbelievable that some people think you're funny. He said, so what happens now then? What happens this year? And I had to explain that in YouTube land, the problem was those numbers are not actually that significant. And so the plan this year was to try and get hundreds of thousands to watch every video to get 3, 4, 5 million views a month. At which point he asked what everybody that doesn't understand the YouTube business model ends up asking, how do you get paid? And my answer to him has led me to here. Because as I told him, the reality is that the amount of value that people see in what I do, or anybody on here does, is actually not that important. Because there's no exchange of value between us. In those grotty comedy clubs, things were very simple. I had a product people wanted to see and hear, and that was my value, and they gave me their value, the £5 in their pocket, to the guy on the door in return. And then they got patted down to make sure they weren't sneaking in a projectile. That is a fairly simple value exchange. Here though, the assumption we all make is that the product, the videos, and the same with podcasts, no matter how good, is free. We place no actual monetary value on them at all, which would be a very broken business model if it weren't for the advertisers. Because the model here is that my product with value is not my videos. This is just bait to gather you all together, thousands of you, hundreds of thousands of you, enough of you that you are then the product with value to the advertisers. And there's the exchange between me and them via YouTube and Google, billions of pounds worth. Now at this point, as I said at the start, some of you may disagree that's a problem, and many of you may agree it's not ideal, but not really care. So I may only be talking to the few percent left over, but I've told jokes at 1 AM to an empty club with a bored waitress and 2 other acts on after me as the only people listening, so I don't mind. Let me explain why I think it is a problem and why I care. Number one, the value I get in my pocket for doing my job just isn't linked to the quality of what I do for you. Not directly. Sure, great videos from great YouTubers will occasionally get them great money, but so can rubbish videos that accidentally get uploaded when your dog sits on a keyboard. Views don't mean good, and even when they do, they don't mean it consistently. So a great video can get 500,000 views and a better one 200,000. It depends on how the algorithm is feeling that day. And it gets worse because 200,000 views can be valued at X by the advertisers one week and Y the next, depending on their budgets and targets, stuff that you and I shouldn't care about. So you have massively fluctuating revenue from an aspect of the job that I have no control over or real desire to be that interested in. Which leads to reason 2, and this is the one that's important to those of you thinking, I don't care about any of this because I subscribe to YouTube so I don't see the ads. Because of the volatility, YouTubers look for additional income streams. That is why you have sponsored slots turn up in videos, paid promotions, brand deals, YouTubers selling anything to boost income, whether it's supplements, training programs, other company stuff. And unless you are making content with the purpose of selling stuff, which is absolutely fine if you are, but if you aren't, that has to be a compromise to making a video. Of course, the test for that is if the sponsors and those third-party companies weren't paying, would people still be making videos mentioning them? Probably not. And lastly, reason 3 is just fairness. Some people already believe in what I'm talking about. I have a community of people over on Patreon that subscribe to a membership. They see the value here to them and they give value in return once a month. It is a beautiful and simple relationship, and they are heroes ahead of the game because they don't need to do that. And I used to feel bad, almost uncomfortable asking people here to join them. But I'm no longer sure I should be feeling like that. If I was one of them, one of those members, this is how I'd feel. You go to a movie, it's a Dolph Lundgren, Ivan Drago spin-off. One can dream. You've paid for tickets, you go and it's packed. The film starts. No, it doesn't, because you've got twice as many adverts to chug through as normal. And while you're ignoring them, you chat to the people on your left and right, and it turns out they came in for free. You quickly realise everyone came in for free. But that's okay, you did your bit, you helped this movie get made, good for you, you feel proud. It starts, and within 10 minutes you realise that Dolph is wearing a fitness tracker and a brand of running shorts that he seems very keen for you to buy too. Maybe he just likes that brand. Then he turns to camera and explains that there's a Black Friday deal on. It's getting suspicious. You give him the benefit of the doubt. And then halfway through the film, it stops and a new film starts, where he then spends 2 minutes trying to sell you a virtual private network and a green shake that costs $15 a hit. And you say to the guy next to you, what is this? He says, this is normal. It's because we don't pay. Kill time. I'm going to go buy some popcorn. I'm not sure if you wouldn't now be questioning why you paid for tickets, especially when you leave and then there's a bunch of people in the foyer afterwards just trying to flog you more stuff. You say to the popcorn guy, this whole experience could be better. And he says, that's just the way it is. It's worth it for a free movie. He doesn't care. And he shouldn't care. If it works for him and if Dolph is happy to make those type of compromises, awesome. People should be free to revel in that business model if it suits them. But if our ticket buying chap is thinking, maybe I'd like an alternative more in keeping with having bought a ticket, even if he's only a handful thinking that, they should have a place to go. I want to make that place. Here's what I'm going to be doing. First of all, for the majority of you thinking, I want to see Dolph Lundgren flogging VPNs, that sounds epic, don't panic. YouTube has you covered, and so do I to an extent. I'm still going to be doing videos on here for all to see, but they won't have sponsors, they won't have unskippable ads, advertisers influencing what I do or say about something, not that they ever did. And I won't mind that it's part of a business model that I think is less than ideal, because I won't be doing it primarily to benefit from that business model. I'll be doing it to occasionally have my stuff seen by the odd person who enjoys it enough that they then come across to where most of my effort will be going, because that will be to members. I'm going to be revamping the whole Patreon experience and mirroring it over at marklewis.co.uk, so you can use either of those to get on board. Links in the description. Be a member, give some value for something you value. And I will aim to deliver that to just you, exclusive content, videos and a new podcast for just that community. Not bonus feature videos or behind the scenes snippets, full on regular videos, just like the ones that will still pop up on here occasionally. And it really is as simple as that. There's obviously going to be lots more going on within that community. We'll do things like Ask Me Anything videos, poll people for the topics they want content done on, what they want to hear on the podcast, all that sort of stuff. As you'd expect from a community that is like-minded, at least in their approach to this issue, and small enough to properly interact with. And everybody subscribing to it will feel like the value they give is appropriate to what they get. Oh, and I should add, if you simply can't afford to subscribe to that model, it's a very low cost, but that's a relative statement, it might not be for you. Do not worry, because if you see a post of mine on the community page on here or on Instagram or Facebook talking about a video coming soon, and it's a members only one, and you think it's on a topic that would be really beneficial for you to see and hear about, maybe it's on, I don't know, weight loss or binge eating or injury prevention, it doesn't matter, message me, we get you a link to the video, no cost, that is it. That is a policy that unless it turns out to be ridiculously abused, will just stay in place. Exchange of value works when we both have value to exchange with each other. If you literally don't, then that model can't work for you, so we will work it out. So lastly, thanks for listening. Please come join us at Patreon or marklewis.co.uk. And if you're one of the many people thinking, no, that is absolutely cool too. We aren't looking to change the world, just create a little tiny bit of it done differently. And who knows, maybe this time next year it will have failed. My optimism that I'm not the only one who thinks like this will have been misplaced. So a gamble, yes, maybe. But if something doesn't feel right, is it not worth just trying an alternative, even if it does seem a little bit nuts? I think so. It might just be a Jerry Maguire moment.
Who's coming with me?
Or maybe there are enough of you out there now thinking, yeah, in fact, you had me at hello. Give the video a like and subscribe over here, or go here or marklewis.co.uk to support us and check out some exclusive content. See you on the next one.